That's one of those songs where most of the lyrics are kind of lost to me, except "This is the worst trip I've ever been on" is the one.
It's about someone being drunk and disorderly on a sailing.
Is that what it is? Someone being drunk and disorderly on a sailing trip.
That's right.
Is that okay? I see. I've never. Although I do remember years ago, you showed me a photograph of, I think it was you and your father on a sailing boat. Yeah. All right, so there we go. Memory still, yeah. British Virgin Islands. Okay, let's. Yeah. This is important stuff. This is a family, a long-term friend, and I remember that photograph. Okay, let's move forward here. My name's Scott. I'll be your host for the next couple of minutes. I want to first of all remind everybody to shut their mouths and shut off their phones, please. Okay. So let us move forward. What we always do when we start our service is we start off the service by acknowledging the land on which we are located. The Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges that the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities through most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot peoples today. So this is going to be a little different because Donna and Brian actually had plans to do something today. I know. I don't care what it is. She's supposed to be here and sing because that puts me in an awkward position now. Because I've stood up in front of 3,000 people and spoken, and I get a total high from it. But to sing in front of 2 people is terrifying. So I am not going to lead the song, but I will be standing up. But Louise has volunteered to save me.
I know almost all the words to the song we just did.
We'll get you started and get you all cued. We're ready for you.
They're ready.
Okay.
Okay.
It's all yours, Louise. Don't screw it up.
No pressure here, no pressure. Gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't you give up hope. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. Keep moving on. You gotta put one foot in front of the other. Lead with love. Got one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared. Wait, don't you despair. Okay, whatever. Gotta put one foot in front of the other. Here, lead with love. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared. I know you're scared. Maybe I'm scared too. But here I am, right next to you. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Yeah, one foot in front of the other and lead with love. No, put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared. Maybe I'm scared too. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with
That's what we were. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living disorganized but well-intentioned choir.
That was fun.
That was
It was an
just,
experience.
it was improv. We got the blood flowing. We're having a good time. We're laughing. And you know what? Nobody cares. I should remember that at the very beginning. Yeah. Okay, let us move forward. However, speaking of caring, we are going to do a welcoming affirmation here, which is the top paragraph, and then in the second half, the bottom one, just find somebody, greet them, be loving, be grateful, be appreciative, be in the moment. Just be glad that you are here and share that with them. And please get up and find somebody who you normally don't necessarily greet. It's not like a requirement. You won't be tested afterwards. Who did you find? But it's a fun thing to do. Together we say, we are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. And get up and greet somebody and thank them for being here. All righty. So what we are going to do next is call each of you up here. You must give the name of the person you talked to and what you talked about. Okay. It was a trick. Oh my goodness, I didn't pay enough attention. All right, let's move forward with what is going on. And I'm gonna like prime the pump here because at the end of our services we talk about demonstrations if we have time, and I'm pretty sure we will, to get some people to do demonstrations. And I had this revelation thought, whatever you want to call it, the other day. I'm fortunate enough that I get to do this assignment where I'm a role player for the local law enforcement agencies and mental health agencies. And I help them, I don't help them, I just play a role, hence the term. But it's to help them get used to really dealing with people in public before they go out and have to deal with it. And this last week I was helping with what is called the Crisis Alternative Response Team. I think that's what they're called. And CSET, which is there's CSET and there's CARE, as I'm learning them. And so when there's a call, like somebody calls up and says, I've got somebody next door who's having a lot of trouble. They sound like maybe they've got dementia. They don't know where they are, or there's a stranger walking down the street. Instead of sending people out with guns, they send out these mental health teams. And there are police officers there just in case. So it's a really, I think it's a great thing that they're doing. I really do. It's compassionate, it's empathetic. Watching the training is fascinating. Anyway, and it was at the Warfinger building. In between groups that I was role playing for, I just sat. And I sat on the roof of the Warfinger building because I was supposed to be a suicidal guy, and so they put me up there. But in between, that was the role I was playing, and in between I just sat and I watched the water and the sun came out, and I realized, and I'm passing this along here, I realized how grateful I was. We have a lot of crap going on in our house right now. Our dog could be fading. And it's a difficult time. If you've ever had a pet, you know what that's like. And I'm trying to stay present and centered. And to just sit out there for 3 hours and be grateful and to realize where we live and to know that I'm helping in the community and that these other people are helping in the community was, to me, it crossed my mind. That is a demonstration. Gratitude is a demonstration. It is an acceptance of good things that are coming to you. So this is kind of like one of those tests. If you now go to your wellness checkup, if you're old enough, and they say to you at the beginning, I'm going to give you like 3 words, and then I'm going to ask you those 3 words again later, and then you're like stress out for it. And I still remember mine was dog, banana, chair. It wasn't squirrel. But anyway, it's kind of like that. So now I've primed the pump. And I've told you to think about compassion, think about gratitude, think about being gracious and happy. And at the end of the service, we're going to say, are there any demonstrations? And if you've got a demonstration or you're just really grateful for something, I mean, hopefully you're grateful for your family and your friends, but if there's something that's struck your mind and you say, wow, I am just really grateful I get to do this, we'd love to hear it. Because I think it can't hurt to be grateful. So, prime the pump. It's now locked in. I'm going to come back at it. I want to see if you remember it at the end of the service. Okay. Everything else that's going on right now, this is what's coming up this week. As always, there is a lot. If you sign up for Angelica's newsletter, then you will receive these sent to your email box every Monday, I believe it is. And then you get the monthly newsletter, too. Speaking of what goes on, look at that. So Reverend Angelica will be working on the June newsletter. This is a new type of slide. This is something that you haven't done before. So she's looking for poems, stories, and et ceteras. They will all be accepted. And our theme next month is the Great Unpacking. So there's your sneak preview if you would like to send something to Angelica. Did you want to say more about that? No, you did not. Okay.
They can email me what they have.
Okay.
And my email is all over the place.
Okay, yes, and Angelica's email is all over the place. This coming Saturday, May 30th, will be the last men's group for the month. If you would like to attend and you identify as a man, we would love to see you there. Let's see, coming up next, the day afterwards, Reverend Lynn Fritz will be back again. If you've had the opportunity to see her speak, you will be back again because you have seen her speak and she is delightful and insightful. If you have not had the opportunity to see her speak, this is your opportunity. So come here next Sunday. Angelica will be here but will not be the speaker. Reverend Lynn Fritz will do it for us. Hawaii in the fall. What's the joke about the man in Hawaii? And he asked the Native American, he said, is it Hawaii or is it Hawaii? And the man said, it's Hawaii. And he said, oh, I appreciate you. I said, I'm glad you told me that. He said, do you have anything else to say? He said, forget it, I screwed up the joke completely. Never mind, I have wasted 30 seconds of your life.
You're welcome.
Well, you're welcome, there we go. But I got it all out of order. I just totally screwed it up. I'm ashamed, I'm embarrassed, I'm leaving now. Yeah, good. We started with the song and I have devolved to a newer level. Thank you. Appreciate that, Louise. Okay, Hawaii in the fall. Angelica is taking a group to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the church that she founded 40 years ago. Latter part of September, Angelica or Burrow could give you more information if you would like to go. Practitioners are available, this one not necessarily mentally, but the practitioners are here. Susan, myself, and Michelle are all here. If you would like to meet with somebody afterwards to talk about whatever's going on in your life, we would love to be there to help you out. Speaking of helping people out, the little pantry needs to be fed non-perishable foods, please. I didn't realize, I was in there this morning, there's a whole drawer underneath that gets filled with all of this. There's 2 drawers under there. So we need a lot of food because if you've ever noticed, if you've ever looked at our little pantry, one day it's full, the next day it's empty.
It's empty.
You feel? Yeah, good.
It's empty at this moment. And it wasn't wrong.
It is empty at this moment, yes. There is ramen, I think, in the other room. Yeah, there's plenty of ramen. No more ramen. There's plenty of ramen. But whatever you can provide, it helps the community. And this month's theme is nurturing the new now. As we said, the next theme will be the Great Unpacking. And now we will be led in the song Sanctuary, which will then be followed by Susan doing the moment of, no, it's not. It says it right here, so you're doing it. I don't care. You're doing it. Your name is on here. I've made too many mistakes as it is, and I'm following the list. So read something. Okay, there we go. So it'll be led by Michelle, who will then come up and do the moment of peace, followed by Angelica and her message, and then the music today will be by Anna. So this song, there's not a chance in heck that I'm going to lead this one because I can't even sing it. Louise, you want to?
Let it all pass. I think we all know it.
Okay, we'll have music and then we'll move on to the next step. Musicians, please save us. Now to elevate the service, Michelle.
Oh, I'm so stressed. Okay, so now we'll have our contemplative meditation. I found it's a poem from Rumi that I really liked, and so I thought I'd read this, and then we'll have a moment of silence, and Jackson will sing us into the invocation. So if you just allow yourself to settle into this moment, just to take a deep breath and be here. This poem's called Now is the Time. Now is the time to know that all you do is sacred. Now why not consider a lasting truce with the divine? Now is the time to understand that all your ideas of right and wrong and being perfect were just a child's training wheels to be laid aside when you can finally live with veracity and with love. Now is the time for the world to know that every thought and every action is sacred. Now is the time for you to deeply compute the impossibility that there is anything in this world but grace. Now is the time to know that everything you do is sacred. and God is all that we are. This essence, this spirit, flows through all life, through every being, connecting us in this web. And I know that all we are is sacred, that we are the light of spirit, and as we fully embody our possibilities, this beautiful light flows from us and out into everyone we meet. And I know this morning as we come together that we are the lights of spirit that magnify and shine more brightly together. And I know that the words spoken from Reverend Angelica will be the right and perfect words that we all need to hear. And I know this service unfolds in beauty and light and peace, and so it is. And now I invite to the podium Reverend Angelica.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning to the Zoomers as well. So, my talk this morning is about nurturing the earth, nurturing our planet, and yet it's also about Memorial Day because, I mean, that's what's happening here, right? And so I really had to think about what it meant to belong to the earth, not to just simply live on the planet, but to belong to it and to recognize that we are participants in this great web of life. And what I know is that so much of the collective consciousness is trying to make us think that we're separate from nature, we're separate from one another, and we're even separate from spirit. I was talking to someone the other day who goes to a different church, and it was all about practically begging this entity up there somewhere to do something in their lives, etc. And I realized, wow, I'm so glad that we have the idea of God that we have, that it's really about energy. It's about divine energy. So when I'm thinking about this idea of energy, you know, we get our energy by breathing. And that made me think about how everything breathes. You know, the trees breathe, the insects breathe, the animals breathe. Everything, you know, for instance, if you go for a walk in Sequoia Park, or if you stand in my backyard where there's all these pine trees, the pine trees, the redwoods, and many other trees emit photosides. I can't remember now what the chemical is, but a chemical that what?
Chlorophyll?
No, it's not chlorophyll. It's something sides. Phytosides, that's it, yeah. They emit these phytosides, which is actually a chemical that helps us be in a better mood when we breathe it in. So I thought, oh, this is pretty amazing. The trees breathe out and we breathe this chemical in. The earth feeds us, shelters us, receives our footsteps, and ultimately will receive our bodies. So we're a part of the earth. We belong here. And in these days right now, the collective atmosphere feels strained. And in fact, I'm finding that I'm doing weird things. You know, I'm not writing the right dates down, or I'm thinking it's a different day, or, you know, my memory seems to be a little off lately. I don't know if that's happening to any of you, but it's definitely something odd going on here. And then, you know, there's things that are happening to the earth as well. I mean, I woke up yesterday morning to find out that the Big Island had had a 6.1 earthquake. 6.1. That's one of the highest ones it's had in a really long time. And yet, you know, when I was living on the Big Island, I realized that the earth is really alive. I mean, I lived about 20 minutes drive from an active volcano. And, you know, for when I first moved there, I was so excited because it fountained every 28 days. Women might think that might be interesting. But it was like, oh, you know, and I hadn't seen it yet. And finally, one of the men that belonged to the center that I started there, who was part of the original group, he lived in Volcano. There's a city called Volcano. And he lived there, and he said, he calls me up really early in the morning and says, get up here now. And, you know, I put on clothes and I drive up there, and it's like 900 feet in the air. It's fountaining, just tremendously fountaining. And to stand there on the side of the road, as close as you could get, you know, to it, and watch this was absolutely incredible. To think that this planet was shooting up this, you know, tower of fire that then, you know, as it cooled, got hard and, you know, destroyed roads. And in fact, a few years ago, the town of Pahoa was almost totally wiped out. Over 200 homes were wiped out by lava. And so there was an alive, something that was really, really alive, and it made me realize that the earth is not static. It's not just this ball that's floating through the universe that's solid that we're living on. It's alive, it shifts, it releases pressure, it reshapes itself continuously. And sometimes I think that we forget that about the planet and about ourselves. And right now, science is saying that we're in for some major storms this year. And so it seems to me that the earth even seems to be showing signs of strain. You know, there's been weird fires. There's, there, down in Southern California, there is a tank full of some chemical that is having to have 40,000 people evacuate if it gets any warmer and blows up. There's stuff is just happening everywhere that seems unusual. And it seems like humanity is having that same experience of feeling the pressures of old structures falling apart while something new is struggling to emerge. And you know, when I think about this, when I was thinking about the earth, I thought about the fact that, or I remembered a native elder teaching me something, a really simple ritual. And that is that when you're feeling really sad or angry or afraid, which is the bottom line feeling going on right now, to dig a little hole, to go out into the yard and dig a little hole, and then lay down on the ground with your heart over that hole, and let the earth receive what you can no longer carry alone. Isn't that powerful? That's such an amazing, amazing ritual. Have I done it yet? No. But I remembered it, and I actually sat there last night while I was thinking about this and imagined myself doing it, so that works too. So what it tells me is that the earth knows how to transform things. You know, the earth takes fallen trees and leaves and all that and makes them into nourishment for the plants that are on the ground. It turns decay into fertile soil. In other words, it makes endings become beginnings. And I think this is why one of the things that makes us relate to the earth so deeply, because we're not meant to carry our emotions alone. The earth remembers everything, and we participate in what kind of memory the land carries. Dr. Holmes wrote, "There is a power around you that knows and that understands all things. This power works like soil. It receives the seed of our thoughts." So it's so important for us, particularly right now, to pay attention to what we're thinking and what we're feeling. Somebody said to me the other day when I was saying this to them that, well, with all the thousands of people that are thinking negatively, what good will I do? And it made me think of light. You know, you light a candle. We don't have any candles in here anymore. We light a candle, and the light from that candle can light up a whole dark room, just one candle. So imagine yourself as a candle, you know, using your thoughts and your emotions to light up the world with peace and with love, with gratitude, as Scott was saying this morning, and which I believe is one of the primal feelings that really makes a difference in the world. Dr. Holmes also said, love is the greatest healing power in the universe. So that's where nurturing the earth belongs, or begins rather, remembering that the earth itself is made of the energy of love. Now I want to talk to you about Memorial Day. I found something out this week, something I had never heard of before. I was looking up to see when Memorial Day actually started and why, etc. And I know what it's about. I don't remember the date that it, was declared an official holiday, but I know that it's about honoring the men and women who have died in war. However, this is what I read about. When the Civil War ended, the Washington race course held a grim legacy. Union soldiers had been imprisoned there in an open-air Confederate camp, and more than 250 of them died in captivity. The Confederates buried them in a mass grave on the grounds. No names, no ceremony, no dignity extended to the dead. The newly freed black community of Charleston decided to change that. Over 2 weeks, 28 black men carefully exhumed those soldiers and gave each one a proper individual burial. They built a fence around the reinterred graves and placed words above the entrance that stops me cold when I read them: Martyrs of the Race Course. Then on May 1st, 1865, an estimated 10,000 people gathered to honor them. 3,000 black school children led the procession, carrying flowers and singing. Black preachers spoke, black soldiers drilled, And the people who had themselves been enslaved stood at those graves and paid tribute to the men who had died fighting for their freedom. That ceremony preceded the government's official recognition by 3 years. And for a long time afterwards, white Charlestonians worked deliberately to erase it from the historical records. I thought about that. And I thought about all of the history that's being erased right now. The Smithsonian Museum, if you remember last year, the Smithsonian Museum was ordered to take down everything that had to do with African American people. I don't know whether they did it, but I remember that was an executive order. What I loved about this story was that people who had every reason to be bitter chose not to be. They chose dignity and care and beauty and sacred remembrance. They transformed wounded ground into holy ground. And I think that that's something that should be remembered on Memorial Day. And what I also thought about in thinking about these two things, nurturing the earth and Memorial Day, this first Memorial Day celebration, is that one of the deepest ways we belong to the earth is by how we care for what's been wounded upon it. The earth remembers everything. And through our actions, we help shape what kind of memory remains. And so I had to ask myself as I was thinking about these things, what kind of memories am I planting right now? What kind of memories am I planting through my words, through my thoughts, through my actions, through how we treat each other, through how we treat the earth? I remember a story about a cat who went outside, a cat, of course, who went outside, and then the family that was in the house heard this bird squawking and you know, lots of noises, and the father went out, and the cat had killed a bird. And he picked it up and he threw it into the bushes. And one of his children, who had followed him outside, waited until his dad went back in the house, went and got the bird, and dug a hole and buried it. How much are we throwing into the bushes? How much are we allowing ourselves to be the kind ones? To be grateful. I loved when Scott brought up gratitude this morning. I mean, to me, again, I'm going to say, I think it's one of the most important spiritual attributes we could have right now. Is instead of looking at what's not working, which then we're adding the energy of what's not working to what's not working, is to look for things to be grateful for. There is so much. Somebody reminded me the other day that Louise Hay used to get up before she even got up out of her bed. She said, "Thank you, bed, for giving me such good sleep last night. Thank you, pillow, for comforting my head. Thank you, windows or curtains, for keeping the light out so I could sleep." And she went through everything in her bedroom and thanked it before she even got out of bed. And I remember reading that in one of her books and thinking, that's silly. And yet, why not? Because as I've gotten to this place where I've realized, according to quantum physics, everything is alive, why not acknowledge it? Why not? I mean, what good would it do? So I played with that this week for a few days, and I've just gotten these wonderful new warm sheets It's funny, you go to buy new sheets and all the sheets say cooling sheets. Well, I'm a naturally cold person, so I didn't want cooling sheets. I found these warm sheets. And as I'm smoothing them out, when I get out of bed, I'm thinking, thank you for being so warm and, going through this process that Louise Hay did. And one of my cats jumps up and sort of like scrunches the sheet as I'm making it all up, and then rolls, curls up and lays down in a little bed that it had made. And I thought, oh, even the cat loves the sheets, So why not be grateful for them? So what I'm knowing is that every loving action plants something. Every compassionate moment becomes part of the atmosphere that we're all breathing together. So nurturing our planet is not just about recycling or conservation, though those matter, and do them anyway, even if the government says it's not necessary. It's also about nurturing the consciousness that we're planting into the world. And yes, one person can make a difference, and 40 people can make a difference. And it can exponentially grow. I want you to know that no matter what you're doing, you're emitting energy. And this energy is, I see it in my mind's eye as something that as I'm walking around, I'm walking in this circle of energy, and as I'm putting things into it, that circle just keeps expanding. And it runs up to other people's circles, and then they blend, and it's just all energy. So what kind of energy are we using? What kind of energy? I think we should be really conscious about it. So here's a little exercise for you this week. I want you to touch a tree, or sit on the ground by it. And let yourself feel the energy that tree is putting out, because it is. Or plant something and feel what it feels like to be planted. In fact, I got a piece of a rosemary bush from a place where I'm taking care of some dogs. And it had fallen on the ground, but it was still all green. And so I took it, it was a long piece, because there are rosemary bushes like this high. And I took it home, and I put it by my back door because I was going to take it out and plant it. Well, it sat there for a couple days because I forgot about it. And then I got Frida back for a couple of days. Frida's the chocolate lab. And she wanted to go out, and so I'm opening the door to let her out in the yard, and there's that plant. And so I took it out, and I stuck it in a pot that had some dirt in it, and then watered it. And I swear to God, I could feel it go, and I can't wait to see what it grows, how well it grows. So allow yourself to do something out in nature. Maybe you just want to go out into nature and just breathe and remember that you belong here. This is your home. And remember that the earth remembers everything, whether it's suffering or courage or healing or whatever it is, and we're participating in the kinds of memories the land carries. And I want us to become conscious planters of love. Just imagine yourself as a conscious planter of love. So let's go into prayer. Gratefully, I acknowledge the powerful presence of the divine. I know that this energy is absolutely everywhere. And though we might think that things are separate, like trees are separate from us, or our home is separate from us, or these chairs that we're sitting on are separate from us, the truth is It's all energy. It's all divine energy. And so let's allow ourselves to open up to the realization that everything is energy and that we are having a very active part in it. So I declare right now for all of us that we are willing and ready to express more love, more gratitude. As we walk through our days, we find so many things to be grateful for. And as we express this gratitude, we allow ourselves to feel the energy going, letting go of all the hostility and strangeness that's been around us. So we let go, and we recognize that there is no division, there is no separation, there is only the one. That one is divine energy. That one is the source and substance of absolutely everything that there is. That one is acknowledging itself as us, in, through, and as us all the time. And so we join in that acknowledgement. We are one with the divine. We are an expression of the divine. And as we allow ourselves to remember this, more things come to us to be grateful for, to be joyful about. Our consciousness expands, and it is good. And so we bless this great planet that we live on. We bless ourselves, we bless absolutely everybody, because we know everything is divine energy, and it is good. It is God. And so I release these words knowing they are already so, and so it is. Anna's our musician this morning, so let's give her a hand.
We have something very exciting to share with you today, besides the music. We've been gifted something by a very generous person and a very loving person, somebody who gives every time he comes here. We've been gifted the state-of-the-art 3SM58 microphones. These wonderful microphones last a lifetime. And thank you, Jackson. Yeah. Right. He's the man. And he bought himself one too. He bought himself one, and then he went to this. He thought, why don't I just buy a whole bunch more? So they don't have off and on buttons. So excuse the noise, and also I'm learning to do the equalizer on them so they sound nice. So I hope it sounds nice. I rewrote this song last night, so I'm going to be stuck reading. I play rock and roll and the blues and swing and bossa nova and whatever. White girl reggae. The other day, I just found myself going to this very old, simple, traditional hymn, or herm. And there's no denying the impact of this music, at least on us Americans. This originally was written by a black man named Samuel C. Taylor in 1905. I rewrote it, of course. I am a poor, wayfaring stranger. I'm traveling through this world of war, and there's no sickness, toil, or danger on that bright land where on I go. I'm going there to meet my mother. She said she'd meet me when I come. I'm only going over that river. I'm only going over home. I know dark clouds will gather around me. I know the road is rough and steep, but higher power leads through the darkness and calms my soul, lost in its sleep. I'm going there to meet my father. He said he'd meet me when I come. I'm only cross, tossing through the darkness. I'm gonna be one with the oversoul. I need no crown, no gates of glory, no judgment throne, no golden streets, just that deep peace that I've been told of. The oneness with a mystery. I'm going there to meet the Spirit, the spark and force in everything. I'm gonna be one, crossing through the darkness. I'm gonna be one with everything, and all the ones that went before me ancestors I have never known. May all their wisdom, love surround me, 'cause I'm just trying to get home. I'm passing through this world of shadow. I'm only making my way home. I'm going over that wide river. I'm going to the oversoul. I'm gonna go in toward my home. Thank you. Oh, I heard something to be grateful for. They have found in the earth that there are 300 and 400,000-year-old cells, living cells. The earth's body is alive with things, little things we don't know.
Anna, that was inspirational and haunting, and I wanted to say bravo, 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 do more. That was just beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow.
Look, Ma, no AI.
All righty, let us move forward with offering our gifts that we are grateful for. There will be plates passing. As the plates go by, please put in what you can, and always, always, always put in gratitude and put in love. But first we say, I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses this center, all in it and beyond, and so it is. I'm detecting a nautical theme today. Alrighty, with gratitude and an abundance of gratitude, we all accept these gifts, knowing that they have been infused with the energy of love, with the energy of peace, with the energy of hope, and with the knowledge that all is getting better, because that is the way that we want it to be. So we take these gifts and we release them into the local community, where circle after circle after circle expands and helps all who we can possibly imagine and beyond. We release these words into the law of mind, knowing that they have already been happening, and together we say, with gratitude, please, and so it is. Thank you. Okie dokie. Let us move forward. We are going to need someone to read our statement of inclusion, and then we will do demonstrations. I reminded you, see, now you got to remember, what's the demonstration? If you have something to be grateful for, we would love to hear from you, a big gratitude thing. And we'll take a couple of people in a moment. But first, we would like somebody to come forward and read our statement of inclusion, which I will find in the book somewhere. And Anna, thank you for mentioning these are new mics, because I spent the first 5 minutes going, where's the on switch for it? It's like, I know there's an on switch on here somewhere. And thank you, Jackson. What a very generous donation to give. Okay, who would like to read our community statement of inclusion, please? All right, Linda, come forward. No need to worry, you can't do any worse than everybody else who's been on here.
We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living,
Wear a brand new mic.
are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates a space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remains learners and listeners so we may grow together, and understands that oneness is not sameness. And together, we know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
Thank you, Linda. All right, do we have somebody who has a big oh, look at this, it worked. Come on up, please, and then Bev, you'll be second. Okay. Big gratitude.
That's me anyway. Well, I have this wonderful friend that I've made at the church. And I am working on my yard because I foolishly said, oh yeah, I'll do the community garden, like the tour. What was I thinking? I just moved here a year ago. What a job. Anyway, this very lovely person, Jill, offered to let me have a bunch of rocks and bricks and all these things to add to this build. So my yard will be open to the community, which is a huge passion for me, the whole gardening thing. So much thanks to Jill and her kindness and for having the opportunity to share my beautiful life with people.
Speaking of members of the community, I wanted to thank Vicki. Vicki coordinates what we call the Love Squad, and if somebody is not well or somebody needs help in our community, Vicki will put out the word, and if you would like to know more, and I was fortunate enough to be able to go take Michael to the hospital on Monday, and it was like, I had to take almost a whole day off to do it, and it was delightful just to help somebody. It was wonderful, so thank you for putting that opportunity out there. Bev, it's you.
I am so happy to be here today. I really am. I have a brother, and he's 2 years younger than me. We've been very close most of our lives. But we have a situation with the telephone that he knows how to push my buttons. I know how to push his. And he likes to talk on and on. Anyway, this has been going on for a couple of years. He's needed someone to listen to him, so I've been real good about it, but we hit these rocks in the road sometimes, and we end up hanging up on each other, and each of us, we hate it. We're like, I'm so sorry, this and that. Anyway, our wonderful Swami that visited us left me with a little tool. And the last time, well, not the last time I talked with my brother, but shortly after that, I talked with my brother, and I planted this little seed, and I said, hey, Tom, I want to tell you about this guy that talked to us on Sunday. And he said to us, do you remember what a do-over was? And Tom started laughing, because when we were kids, you could call do-over, and you got to do the thing over again if you screwed up or it didn't work right or whatever. And we both started laughing. Well, shortly after that, the next couple times we talked, we had a situation where we're both getting heated up. The conversation is getting to that. You try to stop and readjust, and it's not happening. And all of a sudden he goes, hey, Bev, do over. And We both just cracked up and started laughing, changed the subjects, and had a great conversation. It was wonderful.
All righty, we're going to move forward with our closing peace song, Do-Overs. I think there's a great scene in one of my favorite movies, City Slickers, where they do the where what's his name, Daniel Stern he's very upset, and he said, well, you get to do a do-over. So with that in mind, what we're going to do is we're going to have the song lyrics on screen. I have mentioned if you're not familiar with the lyrics, it's better to stand there so you can see them, and then it was pointed out to me last week that some people can't see from over there. So however you can see the lyrics, and if you can't see the lyrics, just hum along and do whatever you can. Donna will not be leading us. We will make our way through this, but if you would all get up and gather in a circle, holding hands. Remember, this song is an affirmation. Sing it as it has already happened. And if the band will play, and then I'll get down in the circle, and away we go.